Hi guys, and welcome to another live stream. So this is actually the first live stream on a Sunday that I've had in a while. I've changed the time slot. Aim is to have more regular live streams. So nice to see everybody coming in. We'll give it some time for more people to come into the stream. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Let's see if I can zoom out. Okay. So today I'm actually going to be doing a bit of a Chinese New Year image, and we're going to be doing an image from Friends of Nature by Jowie. Sorry, I'm just going to take you for a little ride for a second, just to try and get the image in. I've readjusted all my table so we can have more space. So yeah, this is from Friends of Nature by Jowie. I'll put the in the chat as well. So if you want to have a look, it is available on PDF only. But it is an absolutely beautiful book. It's been out for a while. And that is the link to Friends of Nature. I have been doing the background just blacking out whilst waiting for the stream to go live, just because I know you wouldn't really want to watch me do an entire background in black. That would be a little bit boring. I do need to finish this bit and this bit in black. Won't take very long. But whilst I'm doing that, we can just wait for some more people to come into the live stream. And feel free to say hello in chat. Everyone is welcome. And just for those who are new, we are live streaming. So therefore, if you are watching this back when it's not live, then feel free to skip ahead to further on to the video if you want to see more in-depth colouring. And we do tend to do a lot of chatting, so because it is a live stream. So how is everybody? Hello. And happy Chinese New Year to everyone who celebrates, even if you don't. Hi, Sam. Oh, well, you're more than welcome. Hello, Sam. Everyone is welcome. It's nice to have some new faces here as well. I'm just going to finish off blacking out this background, so it's not going to be much fun to watch at the moment. I did try and get it all done before the stream, but I thought an hour would be enough, but it wasn't. Sorry, I thought half an hour would be enough, but it wasn't. I should have had the hour. But I just need to do this and this, and then we can continue. The reason why I'm blacking out the background here is because I want to make these into fireworks, and this will be like a nighttime in the background, and then in the circle will be daytime, so it has a bit of a contrast. So I thought that would be quite interesting. And I've just printed this on a mixed media paper, which is by Frisk. Which is good because it takes pretty much any medium. We are going to be doing a bit of mixed media. So at the moment I'm using Posca, which is like an acrylic paint type ink. And then I'm going to be using some alcohol markers on her skin and some other areas, then going on top of that with a bit of pencil to refine everything. Oh, thanks, Rochelle. No, bless you, honey. That's absolutely fine. Thank you for the thumbs up. I've changed the stream times now, so it's going to be Sunday 3 p.m. GMT, so whatever time it is now in your region, and then on a Friday at 8 p.m. GMT. If you want to find out what time that is in your time zone, if you just Google time converter, and it'll tell you what time it will be in your time zone. So it's going to be a Sunday and a Friday. So Mondays I'll not stream anymore because it was a bit quiet. And also on a Tuesday I do go to college. I'm studying English at college. So I'm doing a lot of English language, English literature. So a Monday is very handy for me to actually use the time to do some last minute homework, last minute research, things like that. So a weekend does actually work better. Probably better for all of us actually. No, it's pretty difficult to try and squeeze me in on a Sunday because I know a lot of people stream on a Sunday and I didn't want to really step on anyone's toes. So I thought I might, if I'm going to get anywhere on a Sunday, I'd probably better off streaming in between Vicky and April. Because this on the spreadsheet seemed to be the only time that was free. Anybody got any plans for today for their Sunday? Sunday tends to be a lazy day for me. Gives me opportunity to just colour all day and drink coffee, tea, biscuits, which some of you might call them cookies. If just to double check, people, if you can just let me know if you can hear me clearly, if you can hear me okay. Just I have repositioned the microphone earlier, so if you can hear me, just let me know. I think you can hear me, Sam, because you just answered my question. Hi, Isabel. Nice to see you, hon. Thanks for letting me know. So one thing I don't like when I move the microphone, I'm scared that I'm going to cut the connection or something, but I've moved it further down the desk because where I had it right next to the camera, which is just a little bit further up from here. And I had it right next to it, and then it towers over. So I felt like when I was colouring, I was kind of like colouring like this. I had little space. So I've moved it to the end of the desk, and it did actually free up space. And it means that all my supplies can be at the end of the desk while I colour, and you can pretty much see everything I'm doing. Just using these little pandas here for little weights, which are cute. Since everything is about Chinese New Year, I thought I'd use these pandas. And what they are actually is quite interesting. They're actually paintbrush holders. So you just put your paintbrush on them, or you can put your pen on them. Just like little rests, pen or pencil on them. So pretty cool, aren't they? Very cute. So I'm just going to get this black done, and then we can move on. And this is just a black Posca pen. It's very easy just to use to black out. You could use things like acrylic ink, which come in a jar. You could use Indian ink. You could use a alcohol pen, alcohol marker, but be wary because obviously it's going to run out of ink fast, and they're not cheap to replace. You could use acrylic paint if you wanted to, or gouache. I suppose you could use a pencil, but that's probably going to take a long time and probably hurt your hand if you want to black an area out. You could use a Sharpie. Sharpie is a good option. Oh, you post on Friends of Nature group, right? Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's I love Jowie's work, and wasn't last Christmas, but the Christmas before, I did a bit of work with Jowie, and I just thought with it being Chinese New Year, I wanted to colour something, with that sort of theme in mind. And I know Jowie's book has a lot of appropriate Chinese New Year, Asian related images as well. So I thought, I'll visit it again. And I haven't done this image before. And I quite like the little heron. I say little, but he's huge. That's that part done. Sometimes for posters, you'll get like a little bit of lint or something on your pen. What I just tend to do is get a scrap bit of paper, or if you want to get a bit more ink flow, you can just press down on a scrap bit of paper. Scrap paper is always a good thing to have. Now, just to do this last part up here, and then we can get on with the actual nice colouring. But yes, I would love if Jowie would actually do some more colouring images, even if she doesn't do another book. If she would do some more images. So if you watch this back, Jowie, is it Yowie or Jowie? If you watch, I was just gonna say Jowie. If you watch this back, Jowie, then please do some more images for us, please, because we love your work. Yeah, another book would be absolutely brilliant, but I would still be happy with just some single PDF pages if that's all you could manage. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be happy with that as well. Though I did actually colour two of Jowie's images, I think, when I first started getting into adult colouring, and I do actually have them in like my little. I have like a little slipcase which has all like the printed images that I've coloured, and to see how I've changed colouring from then till now is a massive difference. And I think what I might want to do in the near future is actually go back and recolour them particular images, and then just do a comparison side by side to see how much I've changed in as a colorist. By all means, that's maybe something you guys might be interested in doing with your work. Recolor something that you've already done and see the difference. Okay, so by all means, guys, if you want to, go and get a cup of coffee, tea, drink, or anything like that, might as well do that now whilst I'm just clearing a background. You're not missing anything. So by all means, if you want to go and grab a refreshment or use the toilet, then now is a good time since I'm not doing anything interesting right now. I should have this done in the next 5 minutes. Just completely misjudged how long just simply blacking out a background takes. I thought half an hour would be enough time before the stream. Obviously it wasn't. But I'm lucky this Posca hasn't run out of me. At least not yet. No, don't jinx it. That would be my luck. And I am expecting today's stream the live stream to be a little bit quieter than usual, because this is just a brand new time slot that I've given myself, and it'll probably take a while for the word to get out that the times have changed. It usually does, but it takes a while for people to get the notifications. Not all the time people get the notifications when they ring the bell, but it's still worth clicking, because you do still get notifications when I'm on live. So yeah, the concept I was doing with the blacked out background is because with this being inside a circle, I thought the inside of the circle could be like during the day. And then I saw these lines and I was trying to think, oh, well, they kind of look like fireworks. So what I thought was I'll black the background, make these fireworks, and then maybe we could do some stars or something. And then we can have like New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. That's whether do Chinese celebrate New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, or is it just one day, or is it 2 days like we have? I have no idea. I'll have to Google that. Do they have a New Year's? Do they have Chinese New Year's Eve and then Chinese New Year's Day, like we have New Year's Eve and Day? I know this year is the year of the rat. So if you know anybody who's expecting a child this year, then they will be from the year of the rat. I am from the year of the goat, so I'm a goat. And it's interesting how they do their star signs, and because it's by the year you were born, not the month that you were born, unlike the way that we do it. So in our sort of star signs and horoscopes, I'm in Aquarius. I was born February the 10th, which means my birthday's next month. It is just flown around the corner. And I'll be 29, so I'll be the last year of my 20s. And it is right what my peers, should I say peers, my elders, my peers, told me when I was younger, that it will just fly over once you pass 21. And it did. I remember my 18th birthday like it was yesterday. And the time has just flown over. Just make sure I don't go over these cherry blossoms. I think the cherry blossoms. I think it's a cherry blossom tree. one little bit to go, and then we can stop with this blacking out boring thing. So, about a lot of you, especially across the pond from me, I'm from the UK. A lot of you guys will just be waking up now and grabbing your morning coffee, where it's nearly 3:30 in the afternoon here in the UK. And there we are. That is all blacked out, and we're ready to add colour. Hi, Zeely. So that boring part is now done. Just some white bits here. I'm a terrible bitch for to be a perfectionist. Some white spots here. There we go. So now we're going to add some colour. I'm going to actually give my Art and Fly markers a go. And this is the skin range. I've just got these. I got them quite cheap on offer on Amazon. I don't think the offer's on anymore, but it was half price when I got them. Just a quick swatch. That's quite pinky. That's too warm. That's going to be too warm. Okay, so I'm going to use these three. So I'm going to be using... These don't have names on, do they? 27YR, 26YR, and 141Y. So I'm going to use the 26YR just for shading. And the good thing I like about these Art and Fly markers is they have a very nice brush on them, quite a fat brush on them, but it's a very flexible brush and quite precise. How are you doing, Zeely? How have you been? And good morning to you across the pond. I've got my coffee here as well, so I'll join you for your morning coffee. I have to remember not to make sure it goes cold. I'm terrible for that, leaving a coffee to go cold unintentional. Now we'll be using pencils as well, guys. I'm doing a bit of a mixed media on this one. A bit of shading here. I'll have a line there. Okay. And then we're going to move on to our pinkish shade, just to add warmth. So for the cheeks, let me just map this out. So I'm just going to turn this around a little bit so you can see. So nose will go from there, and then the cheek will be from here to about here. So just going to dot this in just so I can guide it. And then it's going to be a highlight. And then just lightly going to fill that in. Now it's going to look quite harsh at the moment, but I'm going to blend that out with the main colour of the skin. Which is going to be the Y, the 141. Actually, that's a bit dark. I think I'm going to have to try and get a lighter marker in a different brand. I've got Pro markers here, so I can try it with that. Blush. I think you need an almond colour. It's going to have to be satin or almond. Probably the satin. So let's try that one. And then alcohol ink will just blend this together. And I don't want to saturate too much because it'll just separate. And I am going to be going over this with some pencil as well, so it's going to be a bit more refined when we add some more skin tones to it. This primarily is just giving us a base to work off. Yeah, of course, fire away, Sam. If you want to ask questions, then I encourage it. I'm here to answer anything that you want to ask. I think that was it Y26? I think that was lighter than the other one. And the best way to use these is just as if you were using a brush. So that, imagine if you were painting something, you'd use it as a brush. But yeah, guys, if you've got any questions or anything, just fire away and don't be shy to say hello and speak and talk to everyone. It's yes, all alcohol markers do blend because it's the alcohol within the ink that makes them blend. All alcohol markers do bleed. So when people say that when it comes to paper that it bleeds, it's not always a negative thing because all markers that are alcohol based anyway do bleed. So when you get bleed proof paper, what that means is, well, a lot of people tend to think bleeding means when it goes through on the back and you get like this shadow cast on the back. But bleeding actually in markers means that when the ink spreads. So if I put down this ink and if it just spreads out a little bit further into the image, then that's what bleeding is. But even if it does bleed on the paper that you use, you can just learn yourself knowing, well, it's going to bleed a little bit further. So if I color a little bit away from the line, that's going to bleed into the line, and then it's not going to go over the line. So you can do that, or you can use like a mixed media paper, which I'm using here, and it doesn't seem to bleed out much. But you can use proper marker paper, but marker paper tends to be very thin. And I really like to use markers along with pencils as well, and not just markers only. So, and I do find that I do tend to mix my brands anyway. So I've got Art and Fly, I do have the Pro markers, and I've got the Copics as well on the shelf. And there's been plenty of times that I do actually mix them together because some colours have in one set compared to another. So hopefully that helps. I do have the spectrums as well. I've got a big box of them. I don't use them that much because I like yourself, I started off with them. And they are good. Obviously, they're good to get you started off in alcohol markers. Okay. Hope I'm not coming down with something. I think everyone seems to be ill at the moment. And then I'm going to hit the satin again. So again, I'm mixing brands here. Just going to leave that as a highlight. And obviously, if you're new to colouring as well, good thing is just to imagine your light sources as well. Your light sources don't have to be, perfect or spot on, but if you do introduce some sort of, light and contrast to your work, then it's going to really make a big difference to how your work looks. So you want your dark values and you want your light values. And then you also want your highlights to as well. So usually when it comes to a face, the bridge of your nose, the eyebrows, the chin, inner corners and underneath the eyes tend to always have a bit of a highlight, sometimes the forehead. So it's just about where the light casts. And I'm going to be doing a bit more of that when I get into pencil. I'm just putting pretty much a marker base down. And I tend to do this as a marker basis when I want a good looking end result, but if I want to finish a piece a bit quicker. Okay, so let's get some pencil on the skin. My giant pencil case out. Okay, so I'm going to get some Prismas out as well, so I'll just do some Prisma work. So I'll get a peach, a light peach. I think it's a Deco Sand. No, Seashell, there we go, that's 3 colours. And then I need a shadow colour as well. And then I might use some beige as well, actually. Shadow colour can be beige sienna. Do I like markers better for skin than I do pencils? It depends on what I'm colouring. But generally, I like using pencils. I can get, with pencils, I tend to find that I can get more realistic results. But I think markers are great for an undertone on the skin. So if you want to do, you know, for quickness as well, it's also good to use markers as like an undertone. You can get some lovely skin tone effects with markers, but they never actually look realistic. They look illustrative and stylized, but they still look nice. But if you want to do like more realistic skin tone, then pencils are a bit more diverse for that. Yeah, I used to use markers a lot of the time, but then I started using pencils a lot more. And if I'm not in a hurry to finish an image, then I could just take my time and use pencils all day long. But I thought I might use some markers on here as well, just to throw a bit of everything together for you guys, so you have a bit of variety to watch. And we are using a mixed media paper, so I thought, well, it's the first time I'm using this mixed media paper, so let's put it to the test its theory. If you want to know what paper it is, it comes in a pad like this. I'm sure you can get it in the USA as well as the UK and Europe. Mixed media pad by Frisk. It's the one with the screen with the rabbit on the front. A4 in size, so similar to US letter size. 30 sheets, 250 GSM. So it's just thick enough to go through a printer. Most household printers will take up to 250 GSM. And it's super for pencil, pastel, charcoal, brush pens, and a light wash of watercolor. So there you go. So that's some mixed media there. It does have tooth to it, so perfect for pencils. So I'm just adding in shadow areas with the beige sienna. Is there anywhere that I've missed? And then inside the ear will be pretty darker. And the hairline. And then go on to our next color. So the light peach is going to be, and the beige are going to be our main skin tones. Next color would be the peach. So I'm just going to sharpen this. Good thing with Prismas is always keep a sharp point. That's probably the best way to use them because they are pretty soft and wear down quite easily. I do like using a hand crank sharpener or an electric sharpener because they do give you a very long fine point. I know a lot of people like the shorter points with Prismas because that's how they come in the pack, but I quite like a long point. And then just light pressure for the cheeks because I don't want to add too much wax in this area. And then get the shell, seashell pink. It's a Derwent sharpener. And hi Kiki. Yeah, it's a Derwent hand crank. I know Swordfish is another brand that do the hand cranks as well, and from what I know, they're both equally as good. So if you're looking for like a hand crank sharpener, either look into the Derwent hand crank or the Swordfish. With the hand cranks, you'd never need to change a blade because the blades it's the type of blade that you get inside, and it's always should stay sharp. So if it's a good thing to remove it as well, because if you get a bit of your lead stuck inside here, then you can just remove it. So if you get a jam, and then just find the alignment. There we go. And then all your sharpenings go in here. And then you can extend it. So the longer you want your fine point, then obviously the longer you need to go with this. But you can go just a little bit. You can just the length basically how you want your point. Just get cedar wood all over. They're really cool and they're really good, as you can see. They do give a very nice point. I don't know if you can see. But yeah, the Swordfish are pretty much the same as well. So just have a look on Amazon and just see what's available in your country, whether it's the Swordfish or the Derwent. I would recommend either or because they're both just as good as each other. Now that seashell pink was actually lighter than I thought it was going to be, so I think I need to use the beige. They're great to have if you have a designated place that you do a lot of colouring and you've got a table. They're great to have on the table, obviously, but they are very good for sharpening. But the only thing about them is that they're not very. The bad thing about them is they're not very portable, are they? So they don't. You're not gonna throw that in your bag. Take that with you wherever you go. You might as well put a brick in your bag. Yeah, and you can actually with these, I think in the Derwent and in the Swordfish, you can actually get an electronic one where you don't have to hand crank it. You just put it in and either the top or inside, and it's battery powered, so it automatically does it for you as well. So if you have like arthritis in the hands or struggle with your hands, then you can get like electronic version of it as well. I'm just cheap and don't want to spend money on batteries. So I just I'll rely on manpower. I've gone too bright again, haven't I? Bear with me, guys. Just need to adjust the contrast, the brightness, sorry. There we go. That's better. You can see better now. I haven't got a lot of experience with the art and fly, if I'm honest, Kiki, because the art and fly, when I've got the skin tone set and I've got the purple, that's the only ones I've got of these. I've got, that's all my pro markers here, and so that's quite a lot of colours in here. The one thing about pro markers I do really like is I really like their ink. The only thing obviously they don't have is they don't have the brush point, they just have a fine bullet. But I actually quite like that. I like the bullet, so for like finer details. They do a brush marker version as well, but they're a little bit more expensive than the pro marker. But same ink. The only con about the pro markers and the brush markers of Winsor Newton is you can't refill them. They're not refillable. These are refillable, and so are the Copics. So I've got the Copic Chows. This is set A. This is 78 set, I think it is, and that's the only set I've got. I've used these quite often. So you can see Copics have a more of a slanted chisel. And then they have quite a fine brush, but their brush end is very flexible. So you can see with these, if I can get one out, the chisel is a lot more broad, and then the brush is, if I put the brush side by side, you probably won't be able to see the difference, but the brush is just ever so slightly a little bit thicker, it's a little bit fatter, and then the end is flexible, but not as flexible as the Copic. Just getting ink all of me now. So it depends if you like a very bendy brush, or if you like a more of a stiffer brush. So a bendy brush gives you more. A bendy brush gives you a bit more looseness in your work and a lighter flow. A stiffer brush gives you more control. So depending if you're a person who likes to go with the flow, or if you're more of a controlled person. So yeah, I like a bit of both. I'm happy both ways. For me, it's more about the ink quality and the color. I think as well, when I did art at school and I did art at college, and I've always been into using mixed media. So I find it quite easy to practice a certain medium and just get used to it. That's just me. But some people have a certain type of media that they like to use and they stick with that, and there's no right or wrong about that. Oh, sorry, I'm going to read that again, Kiki. Which has nicer? Are you asking if which ones have nicer colours, Kiki? Is that what you're asking? Which has a nicer colour range? Well, Pro Markers has a bit more range than the Art and Fly, because Art and Fly is quite a newer brand. Art and Fly have only been out for a couple of years now, where Winsor Newton and the Pro Markers have been out for a long time, and the Pro Markers have been very popular within the design profession, and like fashion profession as well, for fashion design. So they've been out for a long time. And when I did fashion design at school, because I did art and design, we had covered all areas. We used the Pro Marker Sport for that. But yeah, the only thing with the Pro Markers is that they are a chisel nib and a bullet nib. But you can get the brush version of them, but they're not refillable. But the ink quality is brilliant in these. And then you've got the Copics, which are refillable. So pros and cons. Oh, which colour is the first colour I used? Well, the first colour I used on the skin. So I used. Well, the darker colour was this one, 26 YR. So I think the main colour, this one would be, I think, saffron. Let me just double check for you. Pastel pink. I think it'd be saffron. So that was the Y141. Yeah, so it would be saffron. That would be the closest. Sorry. That was my fault. I've just read parts. I read quite fast, and sometimes don't catch all the conversation. But yeah, saffron would be the closest, and then you could probably lighten that up a little bit if you needed to with a pencil on top, or a lighter color on top of it. And now my hands are full of ink. Right, okay, so I'm going to use the light peach now, because I think she needs a bit more of a pink tone in her skin. She's looking quite one tone at the moment. And I'm just doing this lightly because I don't want to add too much wax. And then a bit on top of here. White as well, a white pencil would be great. The only thing is I don't seem to know where my white Prisma is, so I will need to use a different white. So I do have a white luminance. So I'll just use that. That's still quite soft. So just going to take the white for the highlight areas and just blend that in. So you usually have a highlight on the bridge of the nose, under the brow bone, a little bit just up above the brow bone, cupid's bow, upper lip, and then the front facing of the chin, the bit that sticks out. So any areas that seem to stick out on the face tend to have a highlight. So sometimes as well the forehead will have a bit of a highlight. Just not too much because you don't want the forehead to look shiny, because that may look look like she's sweating. I was going to grab the beige again. Now, for me, I usually use Polys a lot. So that's probably my go-to pencil, Polychromos Faber-Castell. I do obviously have some Prismas, but what I tend to do is I do tend to mix my pencils a lot. I tend to mix my brands of pencils, markers, because it's just that it's just that mentality of just using what you've got really, and just making it work for you. So I never say, like, when I watch a video or people watch my videos, then I always say just use what you've got. You don't have to use what I have. You don't have to go out and spend money. You can just you can improvise in what you've got. Just like Kiki was saying as well when she was asking about the color substitute, then you can do that. You can substitute your colors from one brand to another, and there's plenty of there's the streams and channels out there and articles on the internet where they do actually have color conversion charts between pencils, from like the cheaper brands to the more expensive brands. So you really can just still follow along with someone's coloring if you want to, but using the materials that you have yourself. Take some peach. For that beige again. I haven't tried Holbein pencils. I would love to, but I just simply can't afford Holbeins right now. I know Jackson Art in the UK, and they do ship international as well. They've just started stocking the Holbein pencils as sets and individuals, so you can get individual pencils from them. So I'll probably have to just get a handful of pencils and just try them and see how well I think of them before I commit to a big set. But no, I've not tried them, but I know a lot of people do love them. They are very much a harder pencil, so they are harder lead from what I hear. So they're a type of pencil that you'll have to, build your layers up with. Where with, Prismas, you can kind of dive straight into, into a flat color more quickly because they're softer. But with Holbeins, you need to use light layers and build your layers up because they're a harder lead. That's what I know anyway. I might be completely wrong, but that's what I've heard from other streamers. I think what I would probably like with the Holbeins, if I was to get a set, I probably wouldn't get the full set. I'd probably get the pastel range, because I think that's what really would. I think that's what sets Holbeins out, is their pastel range. They have a very nice pastel range of colors, and they do a 50 set of pastels. So I probably would get the 50 set of pastels, because in there you have skin tones and you have some nice pastel pinks, blues, greens, and I think that's what really sets them apart from other color pencils, is that sort of color range of the pastel collection, the soft colors. Well, I like polys. I don't think polys are that hard of a pencil. The hardest pencil that I use is the Coir Noir Polycolor, and I do like them as well, but they're very good for adding detail. So if you have a sharp point on them, it's great for doing like things like hair, because you can just do strands of hair, you can build them up, and it looks more realistic. But I don't use them that often. But yeah, just play around with your Holbeins, try different paper types, because it's not always the pencils, sometimes it's the paper that you use as well, and see how you get on with them, and let me know. I'd be interested in your thoughts on them. But I think I would love them, but I'd probably only want the pastel 50 of them, because the original colors I've pretty much probably got them in a polys anyway, and I always mix my pencils. So if I don't have a certain color in a polychromos, I'll have a look at my other pencils and I'll include that. Just going back in with that seashell pink, just to add a bit more shading. Just the shading seems to be a bit too linear right now. But yeah, you just have a play around with them and just get used to them by, using them with different types of paper, and just see which type of paper works best with. And then you can really, once you find the right paper, you can really put them to test with blending and layering. I think with a pencil like Holbein's, you'll probably want something that has quite a bit of tooth. So I quite like the Frisk range of paper. Plus, it's very universal as well. You can get the Frisk paper pretty much globally. The Frisk mixed media, which is what I'm using right now, or what I've been using quite a lot lately, is the Frisk, I think it's Acetone cartridge paper. They're quite similar to this anyway. and that's got quite a bit of tooth, and that's really good for pencils. And when when I'm using all pencils, that's what I tend to reach for. So your paper is just as important. You're welcome. I'll type it in so you know the spelling. So it's Frisk Acetone cartridge. There you go. So I've just typed that in for you, Kiki, so you can copy and paste that if you want to into in Amazon. Obviously not the great for pencils bit. The name of the paper and the brand and the type of paper. And it's relatively inexpensive. I got a pack of 50 for I think it was £5 UK pounds. So that's probably about what, $7. That's for 50 sheets. And they do a 20 sheet as well. You're welcome, Sam. They do a 20 sheet as well. So even if you don't want to commit to a 50 pack, you can try the 20 pack. But it worked out cheaper getting the 50 anyway. Obviously, it was a bit more expensive than the 20 pack, but if you were to get like 2 20 packs, it would be a lot more than just getting the 50 pack. Okay, so I need a dark umber pencil. So there's a really good dark umber in the polys. So I'm going to use that. Is it dark umber? Is that what it is? Burnt umber, that's what it's called, burnt umber. And that's just going to be for this line here. Yeah, I have a lot of paper as well. I think that's probably the most thing I have is paper, because you can have a limited amount of art supplies, but it's the paper that really makes a difference, because you could use some really good pencils but have the wrong paper, and you could actually think, well, these pencils are rubbish, but it's actually not the pencils, it's the paper you're using that's just not appropriate. I remember getting the Koino Polycolors, and I tried them on a paper that I was using at the time, which was a bit smoother, and they were hard, they were scratchy, and I disliked them. But then I tried them on a bit more of a textured paper, and I loved them. They worked really well on that. So it pays off to experiment, is what I'll say when it comes to your art supplies. Let's do some lips. What we're going to do for lips. We'll try a Copic. Copic, whatever, depending on how you say it, Copic. But I like Copics for their fine brush because you can get into very little areas very easily. Same with the bullet nibs, to be honest, but the brush just lets you have that little bit of flexibility. There's a bit of wax build up there, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Don't want that on the lips. How are we looking, guys? Just deciding on eye colour now. What should we do for eye colour? I've got a thing for green eyes at the moment, so I'll do a green eye. Can you see your other eye or not? Probably like just a smidge. Then I'm going to get a fine liner because I'm going to add the pupil. And this is just a Pitt pen. I use these a lot when it comes to outlining and inking. And then we'll just add the lashes back in. And there we go. So if I added that back in, need a gel pen or a fine Posca. And just adding some highlights, so some on the lips here. And the pupil. It's not working. Try a jelly roll. That's better. Right, guys, so let's do some hair. What should we do for hair colour? I think I'm going to be doing her dress red and gold. You're welcome, Sam. But yeah, just make sure that you just think of light source. So think of where your light's coming from. So for this, the light is coming from this way. I've decided. Well, this is what I decided anyway. Probably if I was doing to do it more realistically, the light would probably be coming from that way. But because I've got the black background, I'm making this into day, that into night, so I can pretty much put the light source where I want to. So yeah, that's it. So light source will probably be coming from here or from here. But usually a light source, if it's just a light source, will usually come from above, from here, from here. Only time really if it's coming from here or here underneath is if someone's, say, like holding a candle and it's dark in the background, or a torch, something like that. Make her a dirty blonde. A dirty blonde. You meant the colour, not the characteristic. But I am going to get this carmine red and give us some red eyeshadow because it's Chinese New Year and the ladies do like to wear things like red eyeshadow. What I can see. And they like to really bring it out and flick it up like here. Just clean that up with the peach. Now if I want to add a bit more shading, add that in there. Add that underneath the lips. Could make it blondish, couldn't we? So we'll start with the yellow. This is canary yellow. You can get canary yellow in Prismas as well. And just where there's lines in the hair that the artist has put in, just follow the direction that them lines are going in. You can do this with like a bullet nib marker as well if you've got the pro markers. You can do this with pencils. You can get finer details obviously with the pencils. Okay, and then we move on to our next color, which is sand. We're just going to layer these colors on top of each other. We will go back in with the yellow as well, just to let it all layer up, and then put some pencils in there to get some fine strands. So when you are coloring, sometimes you look at it and go, that doesn't look right, that looks odd, but you've just got to trust the process and just let it build up. Things don't always look perfect to begin with. You've just got to build up on it and then it'll get there. So I couldn't leave that done and think, oh, that's a dirty blonde, that's done. You've got to rebuild it, build it up. And then this one is Chamos. I think it's Chamos or Chamos. CHAMOIS E35. And for this one, I'm just putting it in where the darker bits would be. So it'll be like the shadow area behind the ear. And then just these fine lines here, because you'll have like hair layering on top of each other. And then I'm going to go back with the yellow. So we're just literally going to repeat the process again. Obviously, if you're just using markers only, then leave some white space for your natural white highlight if you want to. I will be using a white pencil to put them back in. Just I find that quicker and easier. Yep, I forgot a bit here. And another bit. And then again with the sand. So completely missed that bit, didn't I? So going back in with the sand, just use lighter strokes. So I'm putting my hand, my pinky finger, like the side of my hand, further up, and then when I do go to touch the pen on top, I'm just doing light flicks, and then following the direction the hair is going. Up or down, whichever is comfortable. So you can see the colours coming together now. It looks more like a dark blonde. And then when we put that last colour on, so you can use this for like your dark blonde hair. There's obviously other colour combinations you can use as well. This is also a similar process that you'd use to make like a gold colour. So if you want to do like something golden. But this bit though, before I go back in and use the dark bit, I'm just going to add some more of the yellow on the bits that I want to be a little bit lighter. Hi Isabel, hello. I don't think there is. No, I think it's I think there is one with the Chinese artists. So places like you know, if you go onto Etsy and Cool Craft Books or 70 East Books, I think they're called. They'll have like Chinese artists or places like Wish and AliExpress. I think the Chinese books have something like a Zodiac one, but not any mainstream artists that we would know of. But maybe an artist will do. I think someone like Hannah Lynn would really, the hairstyle would suit something like that, like Chinese Zodiac. Maybe Jowie could. So I've pretty much got the colours in. I don't need to do a lot of pencil within the hair because I've got the colour down. I just want to add some pencil to get some fine strands. Okay. So, just get my pencils. And I think for this I need something like a yellow ochre. So I've got Naples yellow and light yellow ochre. And for hair, you definitely want a very sharp point. Okay, so we'll go with the lighter color, which is the Naples yellow. We're just going to do some fine flicks of hair, fine strands. You can also use a lighter color to subtle and make the black lines less harsh by going over them. So if you don't want the black lines to stand out that the artist has put in, if you go over them with a lighter color, it will make them look less harsh. Obviously, if you're doing a darker hair color and you're doing brown, you could use a dark brown to go over lines, and that would make it look like there's no lines there at all. That it's all just being done by yourself. But with it being a lighter hair, if you use a lighter color, it will mute the lines. So I am gonna continue this on Friday, guys, because it'd be nice to be able to do this all on stream. And it'd be nice to get to the point where you're doing like the fireworks and adding some sparkle detail. I have just got some stickles as well, so maybe we can use some stickle work because you all like a bit sparkle. So stickles, I've got some of these to put one side. Just got these on Amazon because they were on offer. These are the Ranger stickles, and I picked up True Blue, Magenta, Stardust, Glam Pink, Copper, and Black Diamond. So aren't they pretty? The Black Diamond's pretty cool. It's obviously it's black. It's a black base, but then it's got blue, purple, green, and copper glitter flecks in it. And the Glam Pink is just basically like candy floss. Now, the darker one with the yellow ochre. I'm going to start from where the darker point is and then flick towards the face. And then for the do the opposite direction for the bun. And then take the yellow naples again, do the same with the dark lines here. Just going to mute them. I'm almost up on time, guys. I've got 15 minutes left. And then we'll just take our darker brown, which will be another type of ochre. This one, brown ochre. You're welcome, Kiki. I'm still here for another 15 minutes because then another stream will be on after me. Sundays are quite busy when it comes to streams, but I am going to be streaming on Friday as well. Friday will be 8 p.m. GMT, so it's a later stream. So once everyone's home from work or picking the kids up, depending on where you are in the world. Just going to use the brown ochre to add a bit more strands in. So we are building up on that hair. And not forgetting the the hair that's on the face. And then once I've done this, I'll add some white pencil. It won't look white, it'll just make it look a little bit lighter, so a more of a natural highlight. You could use, if it's blonde, you could use cream if you don't have a white or an ivory. It will give us a similar effect. So as I said before, Friday 8 p.m. GMT. Just use the time converter on Google. That'll tell you what time I'm going to be live streaming in your region. So if you just put in 8 p.m. GMT and then in whatever time zone it is, so if it's GMT 2, then you'd put GMT and 8 p.m. GMT in GMT 2 time zone, or whatever yours is, like Central Time or Mountain Time. Okay, and then get the white again. Is that white pencil gone? Here it is. I'm not going overboard with the white highlight. I'm just going to put it on the edges of the hair, just where there'll be a bit more of a light reflect. And then on the individual strands that are coming out. And then the top of the head. And then these little strands here. There we go. Probably got time to do the pearls on a bun. Though I do want to do a little bit of stickles, just on her eyes. Just gotta be careful because these could come out quite fast. I just want to just lightly pressure squeeze because I just want to dot it on. And then if you get a little bit too much, you can drag it with the nozzle. And then there we go. Now she's got some glittery eyeshadow on. Right, for the pearls, I'm going to take white. Well, it could be pearls, could be beads, whatever you want them to be. For this, I'm going to take the pearl. I'm going to take the peach and the light peach. So first off, I'm just going to fill this in with white pencil. And then I'm just going to take the peach and just do like a half semicircle just where the outline is. And then the lighter peach, just a little bit in the middle. So from where that peach is, just drag out into the middle, and then that's it really. You can go back in with the white if you want to, just to blend it in a bit more. But what I want to do is use the Stardust, because it'll give it a clear glaze. And there we have it, guys. So that's what we have time for today. And Friday, I'm going to be doing a bit more on this. So we'll start off with the dress. We'll do the red fabric, and then we'll do like the gold embellishment. I've got gold watercolors. I've got gold Posca or gold ink that we could use. So it'd be quite nice putting some gold elements in here, gold elements in the fans. Because we've been Chinese New Year, it's a lot of red, a lot of golds. So we're going to see a lot of that in with the fans and the dress. So yeah, and then we'll do like the fireworks, or could do that with some gel pens. So we'll really make it a mixed media piece. So that's what I have time for today, guys. Thank you so much for everybody who stayed watching, and thank you for coming along, obviously, on this new time stream. So again, it's going to be Sundays 3 p.m. GMT that I live stream, and Fridays 8 p.m. GMT. So we'll continue this on Friday. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out with the channel and the community. And all the links to my social media are on there, as well as the link to Jowie's Etsy store where you can get PDF for Friends of Nature coloring book. I'll put a flip through up of the book as well after the live stream. I'll do that next, just so you can have a flip through and see the book as well. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you on Friday. Have a lovely day. Take care. Bye, guys.